national thing that we're talking
and
about.
I actually think Zuckerberg's testifying in just a couple of minutes. It
Yeah,
looks like
and so there are a
trial's
lot of
going
people
right now.
who want to hear what he has to say about that as well.
You know, some of the providers got out of that lawsuit early on, but others remained in. So
they settled.
Yeah,
some
that's
of them
going to be
settled.
going for some time.
Yeah. There's another tax bill this one is the one to lower the gas tax. And so if you remember, that was a priority for the Speaker of the House, Mike Schultz. He wanted to lower the gas tax in Utah. And also, if you remember, this is not a lot of money, right? It's maybe 7 cents a gallon if they get to it. It's actually a percentage, but it's really something where I think legislators want to be able to say, hey, look, we lowered your gas tax. So those are all bills that are going through today on the Hill.
So lower the gas tax by 7 cents or reduce?
It's a point. Well, it's even less than that.
Because, 7 cents a gallon would be, that's a pretty good chunk of change for people that are.
It's
that
actually
need a lot.
It's actually 31. Well, I don't know. You're right. It's a tax rate of 0.319 per gallon.
Oh, so it's a tax rate. Yes. Okay.
It's a tax rate.
Right. So yeah.
Yeah. So it depends on what the overall money is, and that's the thing with lowering gas taxes statewide. I mean, state taxes. We don't have a lot of money that we're actually collecting in state taxes. There's actually the cost of the fuel, and then there's federal taxes, and then there's state taxes. And this would decrease the portion of state taxes, not eliminate it.
When we were starting the session, we talked to somebody from the Utah tax.
Yeah, so Billy Hesterman,
yeah, Billy
probably.
Hesterman, yeah, absolutely. And we talked about this year the legislature was going to address property taxes, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what, if anything, happened with respect to
Yeah,
bills
so
there?
those are still ongoing, and that's still part of the conversation as bills move through. We have over 950 bills now drafted, right? And we're still it feels like at the beginning of getting those through all the way through the process. But there's several ways that they're approaching the property tax, and one of them is to actually put it on the ballot for this exemption to go from up to 40% to up to 60% of our home's value, right? So that's one of the things that will probably be on the ballot in November.
And then yesterday we spoke about or maybe the day before, a $2 increase tax on a pack of cigarettes.
That's right, right. So increasing the tax there and using it as a way to disincentivize people to purchase a pack of cigarettes in the state of Utah.
Right. I mean, I can understand some of these taxes. I guess you call them sin tax or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
You're taxing people accessing
pornography,
people
smoking, nicotine products.
Yeah, because those are things, just from my own experience as an attorney, that cause problems. They cause, I'm talking about pornography. I mean, I deal with so many cases where people go down that rabbit hole and never get out, and it becomes an addiction. I mean, I'm not preaching, but I would just say,
right,
don't go there in the first place.
Right.
It's like, don't try heroin.
Right. Please don't. And or cocaine, and please don't snort it off a toilet seat like RFK Jr. did.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, those we'll be keeping an eye on those, and we'll follow up with those as they move along the system. This is. I'm dying to talk about this in the next segment, but Utah's battle over Proposition 4 has hit the national stage again as the Republican National Committee sent a text message warning voters to not remove their names from the petition to strike Prop 4 from the Utah Constitution. There has been so much going on that I want to talk about when we come back, about what's happened with these voters, these signatures that they've been trying to gather to get that back on the ballot. Do they have the signatures? Do they not? We don't know yet, but we're going to talk about it when we come back after this.
All right.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour. Just a bit of breaking news. The crews have just closed Sardine Canyon because of the heavy snowfall. We'll talk about that and get an update of traffic coming up. Our other top stories this hour, we've got the Republican National Committee is getting involved in the battle to overturn an anti-gerrymandering law here in Utah. But one company is accusing them of lying in their messaging. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
The RNC sent out a text to some Utahns referencing advanced micro-targeting, an out-of-state company working here in Utah to convince people to remove their name from an effort to repeal Proposition 4. But in that text, they said the company was is under criminal investigation in another state, which the company president called a lie in a statement to KSL. Missouri's Attorney General is investigating reports Advanced Micro-Targeting allegedly hires undocumented immigrants to help them gather signatures, but that investigation is civil, not criminal.
KSL has reached out to the RNC for comment, but we've not heard back yet. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Health experts and climate scientists are now pushing back after the Environmental Protection Agency rolled back a key environmental finding last week. ABC's Mike Dubusky has details.
In a new lawsuit, the American Public Health Association, the American Lung Association, the Center for Biological Diversity, and several other public health and climate groups say the EPA is legally required to limit vehicle emissions, according to the Clean Air Act. Last week, the EPA rolled back the endangerment finding, which was the legal basis for regulations covering things like vehicle tailpipe emissions and pollution from factories. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Your money at this moment, the Dow up 275 points, 0.5% to 49,805. Coming up, we got emergency traffic. We talked about the closure of Sardine Canyon, but the snow affecting a lot of roadways. That's coming up next. KSL News Time, 9:31.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent from Alpine Home Medical, and I'm humbled to win Utah's Best of State for 2025 for the 15th year in a row. After 28 years, we're all about you. Over 1,700 five-star Google reviews and a 4.8 customer satisfaction score to prove it. We'll keep working hard for you. I've spent this year advocating with lawmakers for better Medicare reimbursement, ensuring you always have the best access to medical supplies you need. From Idaho Falls to St. George, our 11 stores are your home for comfort. When you hear Alpine Home Medical, think of that best of state experience every single time. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
This month, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
What's better than a credit card with low interest? How about one with no interest? For a limited time, when you open a new America First Visa credit card, you'll enjoy 0% APR for the first 6 months. Transfer your balances from higher rate cards to your new America First card to consolidate debt and potentially save yourself a lot of money. That's 0 interest for 6 months. Interested? Then hurry to americafirst.com to apply today. Introductory variable annual percentage rate is subject to membership, eligibility, terms, creditworthiness, change, and conditions. Other limits and requirements may apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender.
If you've been disappointed by underachieving savings, a high-yield certificate from America First can be a fantastic way to help your money start doing more. Whether you're planning for an upcoming expense or just want to save smarter and earn bigger, America First's flexible certificates are an outstanding way to grow your cash. So don't wait to get your money working. Head to americafirst.com and open a high-yield certificate today. Membership eligibility, terms, conditions, and change apply. Fees could reduce account earnings. Federally insured by NCUA.
Emergency traffic brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Jason, it looks pretty rough in Sardine Canyon.
Yeah, and they're kind of alternating back and forth between it being closed and just having restrictions. So it was closed for a minute. Now it's open again, but there are traction restrictions. You must have chains or four-wheel drive on your vehicle in order to get up Sardine Canyon this morning. We're watching cars struggle up the canyon right now. So, I mean, if you can find an alternate route, I don't know if you can, but if you can, you might want to use it or just give it up altogether, because it's going to be a really slow and treacherous driving up there. Speaking of slow, treacherous driving, that's what we are seeing on US 40 right now between Park City and Heber, especially at that Jordanelle overlook there, because it's just it's almost a parking lot. I mean, traffic is hardly moving. We've had several slide-offs there, several slide-offs in Sardine Canyon as well. It's kind of a mess up in the mountains right now and in the canyons. The good news is down in the Salt Lake Valley and in Utah County, up in Weber and Davis on I-15, it looks pretty good, although the snow is starting to drop down a little bit further. We're seeing it in the North Weber County area. Still going to be pretty delayed if you're trying to get into the canyons, both Big and Little Cottonwood Canyon this morning. Are you tired of dealing with missing teeth? Are you ready to ditch the dentures? The experts at Stubbs Dental can change your life with dental implants. Get started at stubbsdental.com today. I'm Jason Jones of the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather, we're going to have that snow for the rest of the day. It looks like all the way until maybe just before midnight, when we're going to see it taper off as it moves around. It's already blasting some places, obviously, as you heard. Not supposed to see the same storm tomorrow, but by Friday we may have it again. Right now it is 37 degrees and wet in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
I have to start by saying I had a call the other night, Holly, that was a little troubling from a woman who's running for a local office. It's a partisan office, and she decided that rather than go through the battle at the convention, that she would go through the signature gathering process. And she only needed something like 1,000. And she said that she got about half of them, but it's been incredibly hard to gather signatures, because when they go to people, when they go to people's homes, they say, hey, we've heard that this is fraudulent. We don't know that this is really what we should be doing. And there's this notion, apparently, and she said it's been really hard to get signatures, that people are becoming distrustful of the signature gathering process.
Well, I wonder why.
Yeah, I know. And it's been tough because apparently now the Republican National Committee has sent a text message warning voters that a company is trying to convince people to remove their names from the petition. We know that there has been some, we talked about it last week, I think with Rob Axon, who said some people have been told to take their signatures off that had already signed for, we're talking about the Prop 4
right, exactly.
initiative.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. We know that the plaintiffs in the lawsuit that's still ongoing, by the way, we know that they are finding out that people feel like they were misled when they were asked to sign the petition, and so now there's an effort to take them off. But we have with us a reporter with KSL.com. It's Bridger Beal-Svetko. Bridger, tell us what about this, the whole national effort to get Prop 4 both signed and now to prevent people from taking their names off.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Holly. There's been a lot going on back and forth. The latest, the deadline to put this, to collect enough signatures in order to put the Proposition 4 repeal ballot on the initiative or on the ballot was passed on Sunday. So now voters have 45 days where they can go to their county clerk and if they want, asked to have their name removed from that petition. So we're in a part where now that they've collected the signatures, there are groups that are pushing back, trying to get people to take their names off of that list. A lot of Utahns, some listeners, I don't know if either of you got a text, may have received a text from the Republican National Committee on Monday morning or maybe late Sunday night, warning about an out-of-state company that's under investigation from criminally in another state that's working as part of this effort to get people to remove their names. We've looked into that. We were able to identify the company, and while they are in the middle of a civil investigation in Missouri over allegations they've hired some undocumented workers. They say they're not under criminal investigation, and some worry that this text is just sowing even more confusion and making people, want to not engage in this process.
Yeah, I read your article, Bridger, and apparently the company is being investigated civilly, maybe more of an administrative thing, but the notion or the statement that they are being under criminal investigation, at least from what you found, is not true.
Yeah, we talked to the founder and the president of the company. He said allegations. He said the allegations in the civil complaint, which they're being investigated for allegedly hiring undocumented workers who don't have legal status in the United States. He says that that's patently untrue. Says the claims about a criminal investigation are false. And he feels his company is being painted in a bad light in light of these texts that went out.
So one of the things that is interesting to me is I when we spoke with GOP Chair Rob Axson, he said that there's all these out-of-state groups, but isn't the RNC an out-of-state group?
It is. It is a national group. So there's out-of-state money coming on both sides. The group here that the Republican-led group in Utah that is working to put the ballot initiative on the ballot, has initially hired an out-of-state signature firm. They say that most people that have worked for them are Utah volunteers. And they also say this is, some that have a problem with the citizen ballot initiative process, point to this out-of-state money coming in on both sides, saying that there's just a lot of influence, that makes it hard for Utahns to really weigh in on what they want without being influenced.
We heard a rumor, Bridger, last week that some of the statements that were given by this Republican-led group trying to get the signatures were sort of downplaying. We don't have enough signatures. We're a little behind the eight ball. We have a lot more to go. In part to discourage the opposition from getting involved, thinking, hey, they're not going to get it anyway. Do we know if there's anything behind that? I don't know if that even made sense.
Yeah, no, I've heard similar things. I talked to organizers this week trying to figure out because they at least in terms of the number of validated signatures last week, they were at maybe 80, maybe 90,000 before the deadline, and now they say they've turned in over 200,000. Obviously, all of those may not be validated, so that number may shrink as the county clerks officially tally those up. What I've been told, as far as whether they're trying to mislead or anything, once a voter signs, they have 30 days to turn that petition into the county clerk. If they turn it in after 30 days, that signature isn't counted. So I was told that as signature gatherers in the last 30 days of this effort, as they've been trying to get signatures, that they just haven't worried about turning those in as they go. They've spent their efforts rather on collecting more signatures, just saying we know that we're within that 30-day window, that we can turn them in and not have to worry about signature packets expiring. And so that's why they kind of dumped tens of thousands of ballots on the last day. So I can't say there's not something to that rumor, but that's what I've been told as far as why so many were turned in at the last minute.
So one final question, Bridger. Is this fight ever going to end?
That's a great question.
We're
I'm
like
going to hesitate
8 years
on predicting that.
All right. Thanks for joining us. That was Bridger Biel-Svetko from KSL.com. And look, I'm only semi-serious or semi-joking, I guess, asking that question because this battle has been going on for more than 8 years.
Yeah, that was on the ballot in 2018. The voters, by a narrow margin, passed Prop 4, which created the Redistricting Commission, and it's just gone in a lot of different areas since. There's a federal lawsuit pending to try to get that changed. There's a state lawsuit that's at the state Supreme Court that may or may not change the current boundaries that the district judge has set up, and we've got a filing deadline period coming up in March, I think.
Oh, yeah. We're like 2 weeks away.
And the election in November, we don't know 100% sure what our congressional districts are. I think we have a pretty good idea. But they're fighting this on 3 fronts, it sounds like, or at least.
I think there's at least 4. But one of the things that's interesting is assuming that the Republican effort to get this on the ballot for voters to decide whether they're going to keep Prop 4 in the Utah Constitution or not, there's going to be more than a dozen. Right now, if things hold, there will be more than a dozen different propositions that voters will have to decide on, and that becomes overwhelming for voters.
Yeah, and that's what That's what everyone was afraid of.
Yep,
that
that's
they would
right.
Get to that point.
Yep. All right. Today is the first day of fasting for the month of Ramadan, and we're going to speak with a local imam about the importance of this holiday when we come back.
Andy, I like that shirt. Is that a new shirt?
It is. It's from Ann Collar, and it's really rare to find a shirt that looks good and is super comfortable. And this is a fabric unlike anything I've ever felt.
I got one for my husband and my sons, and they watching my 19-year-old put on the Ann Collar shirt and sort of check himself out in the mirror. I thought, wow, he's really digging that. And I can understand why, because it's not just comfortable, it's stain repellent, which I needed.
Oh, my goodness.
Because,
That is something.
He attracts spaghetti sauce to shirts like you would not believe. And with these Ann Collar shirts, I can get it out.
I have to wear a special bib when I eat spaghetti with a white shirt on. But with Ann Collar shirts, it takes those little tiny nicks and stains, and they don't stick to you. Yeah, you don't have to dump a bucket of stuff on you, but it would repel that too.
You've got to try one. So whether it's the traditional white shirt or any of the patterns they have, it's Ann Collar, and they're made right here in Utah.
If you've never tried Ann Collar before, we have got permission to give you 15% off at andcollar.com and go get your first. Use the code KSL15.
That's Ann Collar, ANDcollar.com.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
If you've ever set New Year's resolutions before, you know how difficult it is to follow through because you have to wait to see the results. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and in honor of your New Year, New You resolutions, Any Hour Services is having our New Year, New System sale. From now until the end of February, Any Hour Services will give you $2,026 off a new furnace and air conditioner. And you don't have to wait to save the money. You get $2,026 off at the time of purchase. The only thing you have to do to qualify for our New Year, New System sale is call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. When you call, there's no obligation to buy. Just schedule a time to meet that works best for you. Let me say that again. From now until the end of February, when you have Any Hour Services install a new furnace and air conditioner, we'll give you $2,026 off. Call Any Hour Services right now and schedule a free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Plus, free home delivery with any bed and base. Ends Monday. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates. This weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep, deep discounts. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
And expanded Inside Sources.
Today is the first fasting day for Ramadan for members of the Islamic faith, which means that Muslims around the world are entering this period of fasting, and it's fasting during daylight hours. They can eat when the sun goes down and before the sun comes up. And there's a couple of reasons why I'm really interested in this. First of all, I think it's important for us when we say we believe in religious freedom. We should know what other religions practice. There's lots of things I think we can learn from each other. But also, I have a son-in-law who is Muslim, and I have a grandson who was born on Ramadan 15, which is right in the middle of the month. So it's something that our family has cared about for a number of years now.
And it's interesting that several religions use the concept of fasting as a part of their ceremony, part of their practice.
Observance, yeah. We have joining us today on the line Imam Shuaib. Did I say that right, Imam?
Yes.
Thank you, from the Utah Islamic Center. Thank you so much for joining us and helping us learn more about Ramadan.
Yes, a joy to be on your show.
Can you tell us even just what does it look like when we say there's a month of fasting? What does that actually look like?
Well, it's 29 or 30 days, depending upon the sighting of the crescent. And it goes approximately 10 days back every year. So Ramadan 2025 was from March 1st. Actually, it was in perfect sync with the March calendar. March 1st was the first of Ramadan, and March 2nd was the second of Ramadan. But this year, going back around approximately 10 days, today is the first day of Ramadan, February 18th. And Ramadan will go up to March 19th. And it is fasting from food and drink and intimacy with your spouse from dawn to sunset. So because we're in the daylight savings time, and we're closer to the winter months, the days are much shorter. So in June, July, when Ramadan comes in June, July, and it takes about 33 years to make a full cycle, then it's almost like a 19-hour fast. But now it's more like a 12-hour fast for us.
Can you tell our listeners about the origins of Ramadan for those of us, I'll admit, that don't know?
Yes, the Quranic verse is, "O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you as it has been prescribed for those before you." So, going off of what you made in the introductory comments, that religions use fasting to get closer to God. So the Quran mentions that it has been prescribed on those nations, those faith traditions that came before you. You are not being singled out for fasting. So it's a means. First of all, it's a month in which the Quran was revealed. The initial verses of the Quran were revealed in this month. So it is a month of coming closer to the Quran. But it is also a month to focus on your soul, because we all living in a very materialistic world. Sometimes the spark of the divine that is in us gets almost snuffed out. So it is the month to reignite that spark and to build our relationship with our Creator and to meditate on the Quran, the meaning of the Quran, to strengthen our fellowship with other fellow human beings. And also it is a month of generosity. So it is a very spiritual time of the year for us.
So, Imam, can I ask you about the generosity? I understand it's called zakat. Is that right?
Zakat is the 2.5% savings that you have to give annually to the poor. But other than that, most people give their zakat, their 2.5% of their savings in this month. but it doesn't have to be given in this month. Generally speaking, it is a month of generosity.
Interesting. Can you tell our listeners what an imam does, what that position means?
Well, we have, I'm the religious leader, so I lead the people in prayer 5 times a day. For those who choose to pray in congregation, they will come to the mosque and I will lead them. I deliver the Friday sermons, and imam will, those are considered the basic duties, teaching the adults and children in the community and being a spiritual advisor to families in need. Yeah.
What do people need to know about the Islamic faith and about Muslims? It seems like politically right now that's a charged issue, but what would you like our listeners to know?
Well, I think it's important that we all understand that we are just like any other community, and as a matter of fact, Muslims in America are not an immigrant community. Some of us are immigrants, but our roots go back, way back to the American Revolution, and Muslims participated in the Civil War, and 36% of the Africans that were brought in as slaves were Muslims. So we have roots that go back, way back. It's not just an immigrant community that popped up in the last 20 years or so. So as I say, we are as American pie.
Sounds like it.
Can you share with us what kind of special preparations happen either before Ramadan begins or during the month of Ramadan?
Well, should I say all the gourmet food and the nice, baked and fried, deep fried food, all of that comes out in the month of Ramadan. So instead of losing a few pounds, probably some Muslims will actually gain a few pounds. But it is a very special time. Out of the 5 pillars of Islam, fasting is practiced by over 90% of the Muslims worldwide. Can't say the same for the other, for prayer or for zakat, but fasting definitely is practiced by the vast majority of Muslims. So, one is that in a typical home, you'll see that people will get up early. So they'll get up like dawn starts, was at 6:03 today. So they will get up around 5 a.m. And eat their pre-dawn meal. And that will pretty much sustain them till sunset. And sunset today, I believe, is at around 6:09 p.m.
And what should we know about the Utah Islamic Center and Utah Muslims? We don't hear a lot about them.
Utah Islamic Center is the largest and the newest mosque in the state of Utah. And there are 13 mosques in Utah, and we have a population of 60,000 Muslims stretching from Ogden to Provo.
Can I ask you about, I think the meal to break the fast is iftar, am I correct?
Iftar, yes, to break the fast is called iftar.
Okay, so can people from outside your faith participate in any of the iftar meals at the mosque?
Yes. Almost every mosque around the world will have iftar meals at the time when it's time to break the fast. So anyone is welcome to just walk in and enjoy a meal.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. That was Imam Shuaib from the Utah Islamic Center. And Holly, that's just something I personally, the more I listened to him, the more I realized how little I know. And I felt a little uncomfortable with that I haven't been in 60,000 Utah Muslims. I had no idea.
I'm going to invite you to an iftar meal, so we're going to go.
Yeah. You know a lot more about it than I do. I just hadn't appreciated it. And the Utah Islamic Center, I mean, it's something I need to just visit and participate in.
I can tell you this: the food is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I'll bet it is. So Ramadan, something we talk about, something we hear about, but I learned more about it in the last 15 minutes I've learned in the prior 68 years. So, interest, and it is fascinating to me how much fasting is universal and to religion, and it's because it's a suffer. It's something that you take upon yourself, and Anyway, well, let's shift gears a little bit here because hundreds of thousands of Utahns aren't saving for retirement, and one key reason is because many small business employers don't have access to employees don't have access to employer-related retirement plans. One Utah lawmaker is trying to change that. We'll talk about what that could mean for you.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour, a proposal from a Utah lawmaker to add more regulations to AI is now getting the attention of the Trump administration. In a statement first sent to Axios, the administration says they are, quote, categorically opposed to the bill sponsored by Representative Doug Fiafia. He recently presented his bill to a House committee.
No content mandates, no government pre-approval, no micromanaging algorithms. It doesn't touch development, which means it doesn't stifle innovation.
Representative Fiafia responded to the Trump administration. He tells the Deseret News he appreciates them sharing their concerns, but he says, quote, we as a state are trying to find the right balance between innovation and protecting consumers. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, social media is back on trial today, and it'll include testimony from Mark Zuckerberg.
This is the first time he will face a jury over claims that social media apps are designed to be addictive for kids and teens. So the CEO of Meta, which owns Instagram and Facebook, set to take the stand today in an LA courtroom. This landmark trial centers on a lawsuit brought by a now 20-year-old woman named Kaylee. Her lawyers say that she started using social media as young as age 6. They claim that features like auto-scrolling got her hooked on the apps, eventually leading to body image issues, anxiety, and depression.
That's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow up 259 points to 49,792. Coming up, the storm's burying Cedar City, but we'll check traffic a little bit closer to Salt Lake City. KSL weather and traffic is next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
You know, it's frustrating. It really is. You work your tail off for 40 plus years. The government takes 30 or 40% in taxes. Then they turn around and they waste your money. Americans are getting fed up, rightfully so. And that's why they're taking advantage of tax planning. Tax planning could significantly reduce your taxes, not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. Learn how much you could save in taxes when you retire with a free retirement tax savings analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. Don't pay the government one more dime than you need to. Call today, 801-896-9622. That number again, 801-896-9622.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. Drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet Arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
At Trio South Ogden, the best years aren't behind you. They're right here.
Discover independent living services that embrace aging as an opportunity to lean in, not step back, to pursue passions, not retire from purpose. Here, life is bright, colorful, and unapologetically fun. Because aging doesn't mean changing who you are. It means having more time to be exactly who you are. Schedule your tour today at triosouthogden.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Let's get an update from Jason Jones.
Okay, Andy, we'll start up top and up north in the Box Elder area, Sardine Canyon, Brigham City, all that. Snow is falling fairly heavily there, and traffic is moving slowly on I-15. We had a texter that texted in and said that the highway was stopped at Far West. Now, that was a little while ago. It looks like they've cleared whatever the problem was there, and so now you're back to going through Far West, but it's just going to be slow going all the way around up north just because there's so much snow on the roads up in that area. It's starting to see the snow on the roads in Layton, Kaysville, Ogden, all that. Down in the Salt Lake Valley, no snow on the roads yet. It's just going to be rain so far for you. So if you're traveling through the Salt Lake Valley on I-15, you're looking pretty good. Still heavy over on Wasatch Boulevard, Little Cottonwood Road, trying to get into the canyons this morning. Speaking of the canyons, if you are up, I guess the mountains, I should say, if you're up on US 40 between Park City and Heber, it's still basically a parking lot there. It's just heavy, snow and slow traffic. There we go. Plus, lots of slide-offs have happened in that area as well. Arrive in style for all of life's events, from the first suit to the first dance, preparing to surf or starting a life together. Every age, every milestone.
I don't have what you love.
For nearly 60 years, Mr. Mac, helping you look your best for all of life's events. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather forecast, the winter storm impacting the entire state right now. There's even a squall warning in effect on I-15 near Cedar City. I'm looking at some of the traffic cams in Cedar City. Ooh, it is getting buried in snow right now. The KSL Weather Center says we should see snow on and off throughout the afternoon and then finally tapering off this evening. Right now it's 36 degrees and rainy in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio. Eye on the Hill 2026. Special coverage on Inside Sources.
You know, hundreds of thousands of Utahns aren't saving for retirement, and one key reason is because a lot of their employers don't have access to retirement plans or don't provide retirement plans. People rely, Holly, on Social Security, but as we know, that's not a lot of money, and you would hope and you would expect that more employers would have retirement plans available to them. One Utah lawmaker is trying to make that more available.
Yeah, and I'm shocked at these numbers. 700,000 to 900,000 Utah workers don't have access to employer-provided retirement plans. So we have on the line with us Representative Joseph Eliason, who's sponsoring a bill to address this. Thanks for joining us, Representative.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad to be on.
Can you talk to us about, first of all, the scope of this problem, which is much larger than I realized, and then what your proposal would be?
Yeah, this is actually a nationwide topic because of the unfunded problems with the Social Security down the road, that there's actually talk nationwide of creating a federal mandate to where businesses have to participate in some kind of retirement plan. And, of course, in Utah, we're like, wait a minute, we don't want to have federally mandated plans. This is the alternative to that, is to say, hey, Utah, we have a better solution. We will provide an opportunity for small businesses to be able to set up retirement plans for their employees at very, very little cost, if any, and help solve that problem.
So an opportunity is different than a mandate. This is something that employers can opt into, or it's a tool for employers, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So the issue you have is if you're a large enough employer, you can go ahead and pay the money to set up a 401k plan. They're expensive. A lot of businesses don't understand how to do that. They don't know who to go to. That's why so many of the small businesses are underserved. It's not because the free markets aren't wanting to help those people. It's just there's not a lot of money in it. And so what this does is this actually just creates it's like we're creating a portal that gives the opportunity for small businesses to come together and create an economy of scale themselves. And that reduces the costs across the board, gives employees the opportunity to do salary deduct payments into their retirement account. And what's even cooler than that is the fact that next year, the Treasury Department under the Secure Act 2.0 is going to be contributing a 50% match to the lower to moderate income families across the country if they will contribute to a plan. So this is providing them an opportunity to get some free money to help jumpstart their accounts.
That's really interesting to me. And I'm looking at the bill right now, and you're calling it an exchange. That makes me think of the healthcare exchange. Is it similar to that?
Yeah, a lot of people wondered that. So basically what we're doing is it's actually creating, because technology is of such now, that we'll be creating a portal. And so an employer can just simply go onto the portal, answer some very basic questions: number of employees, do you want to contribute to your employees or not? And then it just filters them right down to an auto IRA plan or a 401k type plan, and then they just got to do salary deduct. So it's just simply bringing a lot of small businesses into one area where they can't really kind of do this on their own. So it's not, the government's not running it. It's still the private sector that's handling all the investments. They still have their own financial advisor or have access to financial advisors or 401k plan management companies. So the government's not running it. We're just simply facilitating the meeting of small businesses and hand-holding them kind of in a way to get them to a private sector provider so that they can provide this for their employees.
And is the idea, Representative, that small businesses would be more likely to jump into something like this because it is easier to set up, maybe even less expensive than the typical 401k or other employer-related profit sharing or retirement plans?
It is. So there, actually, for the first 3 years, there's no cost because the federal government is actually creating a tax credit for any expenses that you might put into a plan like this as a small business. So it's going to cost them nothing to establish the account. And then what was the other part of that question? I think I missed the second part.
No. That was it. I just whether it was sort of cheaper or easier. I'm just trying to think why employers would do this because it seems like it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, it does. And that was the second part. Thank you. Because as you know, business owners, one of their biggest challenges is keeping good talent in their businesses. And when you can offer a retirement plan or anything of that nature, health benefits, et cetera, it helps solidify your employee base. And so this is just simply providing a service to small businesses that really can't really afford to do this on their own.
So I'm, again, looking at the bill, and this is HB 250. And it looks to me like you have passed out of the House. You just cleared the Senate committee. And so it sounds like there's pretty good support. There's almost unanimous.
Yeah, so far so good, right? It'll go to the Senate floor. It sounds like we've got good support there as well. But no, I'm excited for this. This is actually going to be a major component to helping small businesses and a lot of underserved folks. The statistics show that about 17% more likely, people are 17% more likely to contribute to a plan if it's offered through your work. And so we have to help folks because if we don't do something of this nature, it's going to fall onto welfare benefits down the road, and that's not a good thing either.
And how is this plan, this idea implemented? I mean, is there going to be a state agency or a group that will handle this?
Yeah, so the Treasurer's Office will oversee it. We will put out to an RFA to a company to build the platform.
Okay.
So once the platform is built, we're hoping that we can go through all the chambers of commerce, to all the CPA associations, all the financial planning associations, all of the different folks that are in this arena, and hopefully word of mouth spreads so that we don't have to pay for any marketing to help employers know that this is available to them. It's similar to like the 529 plan that Utah did years and years ago. This will eventually self-fund because once there are enough assets in the money being managed, the fees that are charged on that money will actually cover and carry the program going forward. And so we're hoping that just simply word of mouth folks like you helping us get the word out is going to be significant, because we don't want our Utah citizens to miss that match that's going to be coming from the Treasury Department.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Representative Joseph Elison, who sponsored this bill, which it looks to me like it's going to pass. And it was supposed to be stood up and implemented beginning January 1st, 2027. So that'll be something really great.
And as a small business owner, I wish that has been in place 30 years ago when we set ours up. So that makes a lot of sense.
It does. Okay. I have to ask you this. Did you know that loneliness can be as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day?
I did not.
It is really significant. We're going to be talking with a couple of experts on the loneliness epidemic when we come back after this break.
When Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment a kid starts believing they could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't guarantee that, they can guarantee something just as important, that your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts or commitments, so while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlight reels, or video chatting, your Xfinity internet price won't budge. And who knows, by the time the next Olympic Winter Games roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform, and guess what? You'll still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get their best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed. Just $50 a month, plus get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 monthly value. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Kitchen and bath transformations start with AMC Building Materials. AMC Building Materials is a large kitchen cabinet and countertop supplier serving both wholesale and retail customers. AMC offers factory direct pricing on all interior remodeling materials, giving you exceptional value without sacrificing quality. Most standard items are available for quick payment and pickup right away. AMC Building Materials provides professional service, free design, and free on-site measurements, along with expert installation by top AMC professionals. From bold kitchen designs to beautiful functional bathrooms, AMC delivers outstanding value with styles you'll love. And best of all, most projects can be completed within just 10 days. Come experience beauty you can see, quality you can feel, and service you can trust. Get directions to the new AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West today and schedule your free estimate. Visit amckitchenslc.org. That's amckitchenslc.org. Did you know your baby might need their first dental visit sooner than you think? Did you know your baby should visit the dentist after their first tooth appears or by their first birthday? Keep your family healthy. Your smile matters. Babies can get cavities as soon as they have teeth. Bad bacteria can be transferred to a baby's mouth through unwashed spoons or pacifiers. Pacifiers dipped in sugar or sweetened drinks can also cause cavities. Prevention begins by using a small, soft toothbrush and a little fluoride toothpaste. Grain of rice size ages 1 to 2 and a pea size ages 3 to 6. Practice with your baby before their first dental exam. A dental professional can give you the best advice to keep your baby healthy and smiling. If you don't have a dentist, visit yoursmileutah.org for more information on community dental services. This message brought to you by Utah Oral Health Coalition, Utah Dental Association, University of Utah School of Dentistry, the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, and other Utah health partners. Remember, a healthy smile means a healthier life.
Your smile matters.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
I think my biggest challenge was getting through to him to understand that love is real and you have goals in mind, you have things that want to happen, and I want to help you get there.
Sometimes people tend to shy away from wanting to adopt teenagers because they feel like they've lost so much, but there's still so much to gain.
Just knowing that there's just that other person that cares and loves me out there, it feels great. And they've done so much for me, and I can only be appreciative every single day for just having them in my life.
I think it's been the best decision because I gained a son, and he's the best son ever. If I was down and out, he'd be there.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
We'll admit, we've already thrown in the towel on the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and we made it through dry January. But one healthy new habit we're sticking with is Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to help protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Yup, more energy and the peace of mind knowing we can enjoy the good things in life while giving our liver the love it needs.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
And expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
Well, it's something we don't talk about enough, and that is the loneliness epidemic. And it's an ongoing battle that many of us don't talk to or talk about or admit that we have. So we're joined in the studio today by Brandy Vega, who's been with us several times. Good to see you again from Promise to Live. And my guy, James Brown. What's up with that? I didn't know you were coming today. I would have dressed up or something.
Hey, man, you know you
More than a shirt and tie.
I love this guy. I love this guy from Living with Pride. They're here to discuss the battle against loneliness epidemic and what we can do to help.
Yeah, and look, it's an issue. I know it's an issue as people get older too, right? It's not just our young adults, it's not just our young people. But Brandy, why don't you start us off by talking to us a little bit about the epidemic?
Well, what we know is that 100 people an hour die from loneliness, and it's insane. And Promise to Live, our mission is to get people to make a promise to reach out for help if they ever struggle. But unfortunately, a lot of people struggle in silence. And we've talked about this. We're more connected than ever, but we're still disconnected.
Yeah.
And so our mission with every month, we pick a different theme, and we feel so strongly about loneliness, isolation, and the power of connection. So that's what our event is tomorrow. And we've got actually the world's leading researcher, Dr. Julianne Holt-Lundstad, who helped the Surgeon General of the U.S. write the loneliness epidemic, saying that being lonely is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Yeah, that's stunning.
And impacts on our health, right? So how does it impact our health?
Well, again, the studies show that if you're lonely, they say that 1 in 3 adults is very, very lonely all the time. So out of the 4 of us, one of us, is really struggling, and it causes premature death.
No,
It does. And we've
James
got,
never been
James
lonely in his
Brown,
life.
81 years old. He's going to be speaking as well on living and aging with pride. But the problem is, this is something that impacts all of us, no matter your age, because you can be lonely and alone, but a lot of people feel lonely and invisible within their circumstances, and they don't know how to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. And James, it seems like people who do start aging, and a lot of their friends, family, spouses, let's admit it, start getting out of their life, what that creates special needs, special problems.
That's a major thing, because as we get older, we lose our friends. They pass away. We tell our children all our lives, I can't wait till you grow up and get out of the house. And then when they get out of the house, we say, how come you don't call me? How come you don't come back? So all of those things add to the burden of getting old. Your health goes down. Your body gets tired. I tell people your body's like a car. If you don't tune it up, it won't run, So we have to do those kinds of things. And all of these things isolate you. And we don't talk to older adults anymore. We don't talk to our seniors. When I was growing up, we talked to grandma and grandpa. We walked little ladies across the street. We carried the groceries and all those things. We have to recapture those moments so that we can change the perspective of getting older, but most important, keep people from being isolated. If we talk to each other, we solve that problem.
And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I will tell you one of the highest rates of suicide currently is our elderly population, 60 and over. So again, if anyone's listening, reach out to your parents, your grandparents, your elderly aunts and uncles, and just let them know you love them. Take them to lunch, visit.
Well, that's the whole key. It's the conversation, and we have to start that conversation. And I tell the young people, Don't worry about it. You got two chances. One, you got to live well. The other, you can die. So which one do you choose? You know?
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
we want to lift them up and encourage them to understand that at some point in your life, you're going to turn 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, hopefully 80 or 90. And if so, you need to start taking care of yourself. And part of that is not being isolated, not being lonely, engage with other people, and start with your family, because that's the easiest possibility, because loneliness will handicap you.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about your event tomorrow, when and where, and what people can expect.
We do these every third Thursday of the month, so you can go to our website, promisetolive.org events, but it's going to be at noon. We feed everybody for free. We partner with SG Travel. They're bringing in lunch. And we bring everybody together to mix and mingle. This is part of it. That's why we do it. We want that connection. That's something people can look forward to every month. But our mission is to educate some of the leaders in our community, because they take it back and then they share it with their employees and their staff and their community homes. So it's going to be from 12 to 1:30 at Silicon Slopes. It's open to the public. It's a free event. Every single month we have a different subject and experts, because there's so many topics that we can address for good mental health.
So, James, what are you talking about tomorrow?
First of all, this man, he can talk about the weather. He can talk about tying his shoes. He's a guy you want to listen to. You're such a good speaker. I mean, what are you going to talk about tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to talk about loneliness, but I'm going to talk about how age really captures that whole moment, because we sort of disappear off the radar. So I'm going to try to encourage people to do something, to stay active, to stay well, to be active in life. And, you know, it means talking to someone. It means going out, go to a basketball game, walk around the park, stay active, and you will eliminate loneliness and that isolation. And that's the key to a good life. But you got to be well. So I want you to eat well. I want you to think well. I want you to be active. All of those things will help you avoid loneliness. If you exercise, you don't have to exercise by yourself. When I go to this grocery store, I call it walk around with your cart and talk to people. And they go, "Who are you?" "Hey, I'm getting some oatmeal. You ought to get some too, because it's
need
good
your
for you,
fiber."
you know? We have to do all that. But that's the way I make. This morning I was out with the police department.
Wow.
You know, they had a coffee with the cop kind of thing, and I walked in, and the chief was there. I said, "Chief, what are you doing in?" She had wet hair. I said, "Look at you looking all glamorous." But we have to interface with other people, and that's the great thing about Promise to Live. I get a chance to bring my young self down to these older people and hang out with them a little bit, and we share information. I learn something. I go away with another fruit off the tree that I can share with the senior population. And that's what it's all about.
Well, the simple power of connection. It's not fluff. This isn't just let's throw it out there. If you connect with one person today, it could literally save their life and maybe yours. So find your passion, find your community, find your tribe. Come meet ours. We'll always take you in and make the promise to reach out for help.
Talk to our listeners about your group, Randy. Talk to us about Promise to Live, because it seems like there's so many facets. There's so many things we've talked about with you over the last couple months, that different things that you're dealing with, different things that you're talking about.
I founded Promise to Live after almost losing a child to suicide on the simple premise of the power of a promise. We know, and studies show, that if you make a promise ahead of time to reach out for help, you're more than 60% more likely to keep it. Ours is promise to reach out for help if you ever find yourself in a dark place, whether it's loneliness, isolation, addiction, trauma. It doesn't really matter. That's why we work so well with everyone. But we know what it leads to in that dark moment. So we ask everyone everywhere to make a promise. We ask your listeners and you've done it. And then we connect them to trusted tools and resources in one place. This is critical. So if people have resources, if you need resources, go there and get them. And then we build our community online and in person through our monthly events, our Unplug and Hug campaign, our global live streams. We just want to reach as many people as possible and let them know that they're not alone. There's hope. We need you. We love you. And we see you, and you're valued. And we'll help educate you and spread the message.
This is probably a trick question, but does the internet help or hurt?
Well, here's the thing, right? Double-edged sword. You have to take it because it is an amazing tool, but it's also a weapon. And so we try to take it and use it for what is good. And we know if for us, we have to reach people where they are. And unfortunately, we're all on our devices and our platforms. So we team up with businesses and partners and influencers, celebrities, and we stream on all their platforms because their people are there. And if we can stream to them hope, goodness, tools, and resources, then we know we're making a difference.
James, we only got less than a minute left, but the internet hasn't necessarily been good for people dealing with loneliness, has it?
Let me tell you, I'm not. Give me a map and I can find my way. You know what I mean? Give me a phone and I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy stuff. We have to engage with conversation. That's the key to all aspects of a good life. And I stress that with my seniors: talk and be talked to. You know, that's the nature of it all. This promise to live, living and aging with pride, it's all the same thing. We're all the same people, and so many things separate us. And I go, you're crazy. I go up to the hospital, stand around and look at what you see. Every kind of culture, every kind of person walking through with a cane and a wheelchair, with their back hurting. I said, doctor, we're not different. We're all the same. My doctor said, well, I'm going to give you some Capilapalina. I said, what is Capilapalina?
Sounds good.
And so I asked him, I said, Doc, how long did it take you to get your degree? 15, 20 years. I said, so you expect me in 5 minutes to understand you?
Right.
He looked at me, that's interesting. I said, no, that's stupid. You know, talk to me in language that I can understand.
Exactly.
So that's the key to our survival. Communicate, explain, tell your children the problems that they're going to face, because seniors know. They've navigated through this system for lots of years. The wars, the valleys, the deeps, the highs, the lows, whatever. So that's a good resource, and you got them in your home. So turn around to Grandma and Grandpa. Tell me, how do I get downtown? Tell me, what's the name of that building? Tell me, talk. That's what we have to do.
Connection.
And that's what my organization is all about. Communication. Let's have it back.
Thank you so much. Good words. We'll be right back.
1031 at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour: newborns in Utah will now be screened for Hunter syndrome. Mary Rindler, newborn screening manager for the State Department of Health and Human Services, says only 1 in 100,000 newborns have the genetic disorder.
It's rare, but it's one that if you're a parent that has a child with this condition, they go through diagnostic odysseys that can take a while to figure out versus us picking it up on newborn screening.
Early detection is key to preventing developmental delays, irreversible organ damage, and early death. The screening involves a drop of blood. Newborns are screened for over 40 conditions in Utah, including cystic fibrosis. Our top national story this hour from ABC News: a desperate search taking place right now for 9 missing backcountry skiers near Lake Tahoe who are thought to have been swept up by an avalanche.
They've really got this fairly complicated wilderness scenario: night, winter storm, avalanche danger, and they need to manage all of those risks.
Ethan Green is an avalanche information officer and says time is critical in this search. Your money at this moment: the Dow up 311 points to 49,845. Coming up, plenty of problems on the road because of this storm. Weather and traffic is next. KSL News Time, 10:32.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110. 280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
The KSL News Radio Movie Show comes to My Hearing Centers Friday from 10 to 1. But first, discover what My Hearing Centers can do for you. My Hearing Centers uses advanced technology to diagnose and treat hearing loss. These comprehensive evaluations determine the best treatment options. Then enjoy lifetime support with regular check-ins, cleaning, and maintenance. Call My Hearing Centers at 801-701-1629. 801-701-1629 for more details. My Hearing Centers has offices from Ogden to St. George.
With affordable tuition, personal support, and career services, Salt Lake Community College is empowering students to shape Utah's future.
I'm an occupational therapy practitioner.
I'm an electrical engineer.
And I'm in comms, PR, and marketing.
And I'm a Salt Lake Community College alum.
A better Utah starts with a better education. SLCC provides opportunities to students who become alumni that shape Utah's future. See how we're investing in Utah's future at slcc.edu/community.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at UCCU.com. Here's Jason Jones.
Andy, we have seen the snow now come to the Salt Lake Valley, at least the northern part of the Salt Lake Valley. There is snow falling around, although it doesn't appear to be sticking to the roads at this point. And down in the south end of the valley, it's still not even snowing down there at this point anyway. It's just kind of some rain on the roads. We do have some minor accidents. In fact, quite a few minor accidents around, but all of them seem to be on the shoulders. None of them are really affecting traffic, so you're not going to have to worry about that too much, at least at this point. I would obviously recommend that you slow down, reduce your speeds, because it's just going to get worse from pretty much here on. Speaking of bad traffic, it's still really bad on US 40 between Park City and Heber. It's crawling along there, although the roads appear that they've been plowed at least a little bit, and so it's getting kind of better, but you're still going to be running very slow there. Had a bunch of slide-offs there this morning, plus same thing up in Provo Canyon, up 189 around Deer Creek Reservoir is where we're going to find the slowest traffic that we've got going on. Still going to be delayed on Wasatch Boulevard and Little Cottonwood Road as you try to get into the canyons this morning. Go do a little bit of skiing. At UTA, it's never just a ride from point A to point B. They move independence. They move purpose. They move memories. They move what matters. You plan your trip at rideuta.com. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather forecast. The snow showers will continue on and off throughout the rest of the day. The KSL Weather Center says valleys could get anywhere from 1 to 4 inches before the storm is done. Right now it is 36 degrees and snowy in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
This is really surprising to me, but according to a study by Wallet Hub, Utah is now the second in the nation for best teachers, falling just short behind Virginia for number 1. This absolutely surprises me, and I think that this is a significant jump from where we probably were 10 years ago, recently as 10 years ago.
We're going to hear about that on the Hill, I am quite sure.
Yeah,
because it's almost, we're number 1, almost. So we have with us Travis Allred. He's the Education Program Manager for Envision Utah. And can we trust this ranking? Like, what is this?
Yeah, no, I think we do see a lot of progress coming from the legislature. Let's give credit where credit is due. the legislature has invested billions and billions of dollars into teacher compensation. And so I do largely trust the numbers behind that Wallet Hub research. But the caveat is teachers have, also experienced inflation, right? We've gone through a pandemic, and teacher class sizes in Utah remain some of the highest in the nation, and so all of these things are adding up. And so when we do our internal focus groups and we listen to teachers, they say, yeah, we appreciate the raises, we appreciate the salary adjustments, to give credit where it's due, for sure. But it is still very hard to be a teacher these days, with all of the extras that come along with teaching, all of the politics that feels like it's creeping in. Right, teachers are telling me that it's not the same job that it used to be when they first started teaching.
Travis, it wasn't that long ago that we were losing teachers to Las Vegas and to other markets near us, and is it salaries that have made a difference, or are there other things that are going on with Utah schools that are making it a little more attractive for teachers to stick around here?
It's hard to put a number exactly and to do that analysis exactly. There's a lot of factors that go into why teachers teach in Utah versus somewhere else. I don't think you're getting a whole lot of people saying, oh, the salaries are slightly higher in a neighboring mountain state. Let me go over there to be a teacher to get a slight pay bump. A lot of districts actually kind of will start you at a lower, pay grade for starting in a new district. And so I don't know if that's a super big reason, but it is interesting to see, at Envision Utah, when we, do this kind of work, we do this visioning survey work, and we kind of gather that baseline data so that we can give that information to stakeholders. It's important for us to kind of understand where everyone's at. And so, yeah, that's not something that I think we're seeing very much.
Can I ask you about starting salaries for teachers? And I'm sure it's going to vary depending on where the school district is.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
But what are teachers in Utah looking at, especially new teachers, I guess, getting ready to get into the profession?
Yeah, so this is a kind of a perception that we would like to change, and that's kind of where our vision work went 6 years ago when we first looked at this. We kind of asked, what should teachers make? What should they be paid? And not just to be competitive against other, teachers around the Intermountain West, but to really compete against other industries. We want to attract Utah's best and brightest into the field of teaching, away from being a lawyer, being a doctor. We want to see that prestige level really rise. And so what does the salary need to be? And so the stakeholder group that we pulled together, legislators, stakeholders, business leaders, people at the Utah State Board of Education, they came up with around $60,000 to start, but that was back in 2019. And so you're seeing sort of inflation catch up with those numbers. Now we're seeing that $60,000 mark now in 2025, 2026. So we're there now, but it's almost like a little bit late. So that's why you're still seeing teachers saying, "Wow, man, we're drowning over here." So it's really great to see that we're there at that $60,000 mark for 80% of districts across the state. You're at that $60,000. So that's really great to see. But I think there's always more that we can be doing.
Travis, tell us about Envision Utah, and especially the education program. Tell us what you do.
Yeah, so Envision Utah, I like to think of it as Utah's big kind of group project, right? So essentially, we think about what the future should look like, and we bring together Utahns from every walk of life to think about that future. And so with our education work specifically, historically, let me back up a little bit, we were heavily involved in land use, water, transportation, and we're still doing great things in that. We've got a great Salt Lake project that we're kicking off right now, and we're couldn't be more timely. But back in the early 2010s, our board of directors said, the physical capital, the physical infrastructure, that's great, but we need to really be focusing on our human capital. And so that's really where the education project got its start. And so that includes early learning all the way through to, college. And so we're working right now on a college sort of higher ed, post-secondary visioning work. Again, bringing together those stakeholders and figuring out what should higher ed look like, especially in the age of sort of AI and all of these things that are coming around. what should those degrees give us? What should they offer? And so that's kind of something we're working on right now.
We only have about a minute left, but I know that Envision Utah is broader than just policy pieces coming down from Capitol Hill. But is there any specific legislation that you're watching this session?
Yeah, so not in particular. So we kind of are a nonpartisan, nonprofit group that doesn't do any specific policy advocacy work. We really focus on beyond that year-to-year stuff that's going on up at the Hill. There are things that that we like to see. But really, what we do is we try and set the vision so that legislators, policymakers, other stakeholders, that they can get involved and they can say, okay, this is what Utahns said that they want, right? Envision Utah is really good at gathering values data and values research and helping communicate those values to the stakeholders where it matters the most. And so they can say, oh, this is what Utahns said that they wanted. Let's translate that into a policy decision and move forward from there.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Travis Allred, Education Program Manager with Envision Utah. And this next segment is for first-time home buyers. So listen up. We know it can be tough out there, but we're going to have the Stern team of Omada Real Estate walk us through first-time home buyer mistakes. So tune in for what not to do in the next segment.
If you're ready to buy a home or sell a home and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your friends or family, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern team, powered by Omada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy-downs, and closing cost assistance. While at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes, with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that can get you some great results. And that's our friends at the Stern team, powered by Omada Real Estate.
They have helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they're ready to help you. To get started, just go to thesternteam.com. That's thesternteam.com, or Google The Stern Team.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Bring your visions to life with smart business buying tools and technology from Amazon Business. From fast, free shipping to in-depth buying insights and automated purchase approvals, we deliver everything you need to achieve your goals. Go to AmazonBusiness.com for support. This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But Soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line. Yeah. When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to SOTAweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at Soda, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep discounts. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Inside Sources.
Well, we all make mistakes, but when you're buying your first home, a mistake can be a huge mistake, and I think we've all been there. Mine was some time ago, but you buying your first home, you don't know what you're doing. You're relying on outside sources, usually family, saying, hey, you need a house.
Instead of inside sources
right, yes,
like us.
Well,
there
today,
you go.
Yeah, you can learn from your inside sources today.
Look, I'm trying to think back when we bought our first home. It was 1990, and I made some of these mistakes that Russell Fawcett, the owner of the Stern team of Amada Real Estate, is going to tell us about. Are you there, Russell? Okay. Thanks for joining us. I'm wondering if you can tell us about these first-time home buyer mistakes, because I'm pretty sure I made some.
Common mistakes, Russell, for first-time home buyers.
Oh, got it. So let me just getting in. So a lot of the first-time homebuyer mistakes, and I believe you're referencing
young people who are buying their first home. We're talking about things that they made a mistake. Sorry, we kind of grabbed you at the last minute here. What do you tell first-time home buyers?
Yeah, so one of the first things that I think for first-time home buyers is they fall in love with the home before they know financially what they can afford. And so what that means is we actually like to start with sitting down and finding out what are their goals, what are they looking for in a home, but then also connecting them with a mortgage professional to go through and make sure that we don't go out and go shopping for a home that they fall in love with that maybe they end up not being able to afford. And then the other thing is, kind of along the lines of financials, is maybe thinking, oh, let's go buy a fixer-upper because it's less money, and then not understanding all of the costs that might be associated with actually fixing up that home.
I know for me, when I did our first home, I don't think I realized how many extra costs there were. Like when I was looking at a home, it's like, what's my mortgage cost, period, right? I didn't realize there were closing costs and inspections. And, it feels like all these other costs that I had not anticipated as a first-time home buyer. Do you see that too?
Yeah. So, and that's a big thing, right? It's like, oh, we're going to get into this home, and a lot of people are so used to renting that, maybe they have a security deposit. When you're buying a home, you have title fees up front. You need to be ready to put money down for an earnest money deposit. And then you're going to have your appraisal, your inspection, and you may end up paying for, multiple things to be inspected. And so you do have some of those out-of-pocket costs just to find out if that home's the right home for you. And then, again, after closing, then the moving costs and setting up your utilities and paying, the yearly taxes. So there are costs. I mean, I definitely still I don't want to scare people away from buying a home, but just understanding and knowing the full cost of home ownership will save you from, some of that heartburn later on.
We're speaking this morning with Russell Fawcett, owner of the Stern team of Omada Real Estate. Russell, I bought my first home probably before you were born. It was 1982, at a time when everyone just assumed home prices were going to continue to increase. You had to get a home. And so we were told, buy the most expensive home you can afford, because a year or two later you're going to be fine, because you're going to be making more and the home's value is going to increase. Tell me, is that still what you tell people?
Absolutely not.
That's what I thought.
Well, so one of the things, I don't know, you're right. I think you got me by a year, but the lending requirements have changed. And so, as far as debt to income, it will actually allow you to take, almost half of your income to put towards your mortgage. And so that doesn't leave room for, what if your car breaks down and you need to go buy a car, and maybe at the time you're buying, you didn't have a car payment. So like for me, as a rule of thumb, I like to keep total housing costs under 30%. So that's my utilities, that's my mortgage payment, that's everything. And I understand, sometimes starting out, that's not always possible. But we want to make sure that you don't become, house poor when going in. And so it's more of like, what is comfortable? What can you do? What have you been paying in rent to make sure that, again, we don't get in a financial bind just because you bought a home.
Russell, can you talk to us about what home buyers, and whether it's first time or otherwise, what they need to know about opening new lines of credit while they're kind of also in the process?
Don't do it. That's a commandment of, one of those things that you just don't do. So as soon as you start, shopping for a home, we don't go get the furniture credit card. We don't go buy a new home. Any of those things would actually have an impact on your credit, on your debt to income, even if it's like, well, I got this credit card and I haven't put anything on it, that can affect your credit score. And so one of the thing is once we make mortgage application, at that point, we don't touch anything that has to do with our credits or finances. Even like paying off a credit card can change your cash position in the bank, that you may need a certain amount of reserves. And so we just say, like, before doing anything, call and ask your mortgage professional permission to do it, just to make sure you don't, again, you're spending money to buy this home. You don't want to get to the closing table and find out because you bought a car or you co-signed with someone for a student loan or something. We don't touch finances once we make application.
A lot of us, Russell, are established now. We have homes. We tend to stay there. But we're talking about first homes, which imply that you're going to get another home. So what do you tell first-time home buyers about sort of the investment part of it? The fact that, hey, we're just buying this house. We're going to sell it in X number of years. We're going to try to do what we can to get a little equity and get ourselves in a better financial credit position, that type of thing. Are there things that you tell first-time home buyers about that?
Yeah, kind of my go-to, and this goes back to not overextending for the first home as well, is I do say you're buying your first home, not your dream home or your last home. And so we do want to make sure that it's going to, meet the needs for someone for the next, 5 to 7 years, because especially in the market that we're experiencing right now, if you're like, well, I'm going to be transferred in 2 years, unless you plan on keeping that home later on as a rental, you're probably going to end up losing money in the transaction. And so rule of thumb, typically, you want to be planning on keeping the home. It doesn't mean you have to live there, but keeping the home, 3 to 5 to 7 years, making sure that home will also meet your needs for that same period of time. And then understand, again, we're going to look at buying what the home we can afford today, so that we can get into the game, start building some equity, and eventually be able to buy the next home.
So just as a reminder, we're speaking with Russell Fawcett, the owner of Stern Team of Omada Real Estate. And Russell, we only have about a minute left, but what is your top tip for organizing a home search?
Yeah, so one of the best things that we like to do is to come up with your top 10. And we tell you, you want your 5 must-haves, so non-negotiables in a home. If you need 3 bedrooms, at least, you're not going to look at a 2-bedroom. And then you have your 5, kind of your wants that would be nice to have. And then as we start that search, honestly, if we can get 7 or 8 of those, like inside of our price range, we consider that a win. But starting out knowing location and what you want in the home will help you narrow down and save a lot of time in that home search.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Russell Fawcett, the owner of Stern Team of Amada Real Estate. And you can learn your home's true value in 30 seconds by visiting sternteam.com to find out more.
Good advice. I was listening to him, and I was really interested in the how long should you keep your first home. 2 years, probably a little bit too short. 5 to 7, making a lot of sense. Then you can get some equity, establish some credit, that type of thing. Great advice, as he always gives us. That was Russell Fawcett. When we come back, Congress is looking at a record number of retirements this year. Lame duck congressional representatives, right? I guess. We'll talk about what that might mean for the next Congress when we come back after this.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Claire Scott. KSL's top story this hour. Provo man is accused of threatening to shoot someone while pretending to be an officer. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
This started near 500 West and Cougar Boulevard in Provo when a man says he was changing lanes and it really ticked off another driver. That other guy, he started honking and following him and ended up following him all the way home. The first driver says his wife and his kids were in the car, and that second guy got out, started talking into a radio like he was an officer, and then said ICE was on the way. He then added if he had a gun, he'd shoot him right then.
Police say the suspect, Mark Mathis, said he pretended to be an agent so the other driver would fear like he did when he almost crashed while driving. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Social media is back on trial today, and it will include testimony from Mark Zuckerberg.
This is the first time he will face a jury over claims that social media apps are designed to be addictive for kids and teens. So the CEO of Meta, which owns Instagram and Facebook, set to take the stand today in an LA courtroom. This landmark trial centers on a lawsuit brought by a now 20-year-old woman named Kaylee. Her lawyers say that she started using social media as young as age 6. They claim that features like auto-scrolling got her hooked on the apps, eventually leading to body image issues, anxiety, and depression.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 306 points. The S&P is up 62 points. And coming up, there's a winter storm warning in Cache Valley and along the Wasatch Back. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
When Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment a kid starts believing they could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't guarantee that, they can guarantee something just as important, that your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts or commitments, so while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlight reels, or video chatting, your Xfinity internet price won't budge. And who knows, by the time the next Olympic Winter Games roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform. And guess what? You'll still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get their best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed. Just $50 a month, plus get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 monthly value. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Tito Nani.
Storm is reaching northern Utah. Here are the areas most impacted with road snow accumulation to the east. Highway 40 between I-80 and Jordanelle in Utah County. Highway 189 Provo Canyon. For SLC drivers, the East Bell and I-80 in Parley's Canyon, as well as I-15 between downtown and 45th South Murray. To the north, parts of I-15 Kaysville and Farmington, Highway 89 in Davis County, and I-84 from the mouth of the canyon to Mountain Green. Be prepared for possible slick conditions in these areas with continuing snowfall and reduced visibility. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
The snow has begun falling in earnest in Salt Lake City this last hour. The Wasatch Front will see the heaviest snowfall from now until 3 this afternoon. Things calm down this evening and overnight, and tomorrow will be mostly dry. Right now, it is 32 and snowing. I'm Claire Scott from the KSL Common Spirit House Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
This is really interesting, Holly, but members of Congress are retiring at a historic rate, and so we're sort of wondering what that's going to make Congress look like a year from now. I think there are other things that are going to affect how Congress looks a year from now.
Oh, yeah.
But congressional members, representatives, retiring, I don't know, something's going on right now that are causing people to do that.
Well, we have somebody on the line with us to break it down for us. It's congressional correspondent for the Deseret News, Cami Mondo. Cami, my very first question is, are they just sick of it?
You know, that there is a good number of lawmakers right now who are just leaving because they are sick of it. They've made that very clear when they announced their retirements. Others are simply just looking for other positions that they may want, whether that's running for governor or for the Senate. But there are a bunch of different reasons why people are leaving, but there are a good chunk who just simply want to get out.
So what surprises me, though, about this, Cami, is this, that it seems like we're still having most discussions that are fairly limited to party lines. That is that Republicans aren't breaking much, Democrats aren't breaking much. I would have expected that lame duck congressional representatives from both sides would be more willing to say, hey, wait a minute, if I'm a Republican, I don't necessarily agree with what Trump's doing. I think I'll go with the Democrats. If I'm with a Democrat, hey, I don't agree with what Democrats are doing, slowing things down, I think I'll go with the Republicans. Knowing that you're not going to have to run for re-election and then that's going to come and bite you, that doesn't seem to be happening.
Right, you do normally see that people are a little more willing to break with party lines. To your point, we haven't seen that very much until, of course, last week when Don Bacon did break with his party on one of those votes. But he's really just been an outlier there. The only real Republican that we've seen break with the majority is Thomas Massie. And, of course, he's running for re-election. He's not retiring, even though, President Trump wants to unseat him. But you're absolutely right that even with some of these lawmakers who are retiring, a lot of them are still not breaking. A lot of those who do get sick of it and want to break with their party, let's say Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example, they seem to just be leaving early altogether.
And I guess it would also make a difference. Something else you said, Cammie, that struck me is that maybe they're running for other office like governor or something like that. So they still want to keep those Republican or Democrat ties. They may not be as willing to break party lines because they're still in the game, right?
Absolutely. Whether it is for Senate or even governor's races, we have a couple, let's say, South Carolina, for example, we have two House members, Ralph Norman and Nancy Mace, who are both facing off to become the next governor of South Carolina. A lot of what's going to play into that is the endorsement from President Trump. So you're going to see both of these lawmakers really try to earn his favor, make sure they stay in his good graces, because that could play a major role in what happens to them in their next office.
So can you tell us how many people actually have announced that they're not going to run again?
There are 60 members of Congress so far who are not running for re-election. That's 51 in the House and 9 senators, which when I did the math, that's about 14% of sitting lawmakers in Congress right now. And there's still several who are rumored to be retiring, who, are getting older and considering not running again. That number is expected to just grow.
So let me just ask a follow-up really quickly. How does that compare then to what normally happens? Because normally there's always a number of people who say, well, I'm not going to run again.
Absolutely. There's usually a big number, to your point, that a lot of them don't run. This isn't the highest number we've ever seen. We have had about 2 years in the past where higher numbers have retired, but it's on track to be the most that we've seen, especially compared to other years. We usually see a couple dozen of those older members decide to retire. But I think what's also just shocking about this is most of these members aren't just retiring. They're running for other offices. Usually when we see such high retirement, it's because they're leaving political office altogether.
And because incumbents usually have a leg up on their own re-election, open seats almost always invite more candidates into the fray from both sides. Is that something we could expect this year, that we'll have a more lively election in November than we might normally?
Absolutely. We're going to see so many different candidates kind of jump into the fray here. We still have a lot of seats that are just vulnerable as well. So by the time we get to Congress next year, we're going to have a whole boat of new faces, whether it's these people who have replaced open seats or people who have just flipped seats that were vulnerable and those incumbents lost their re-election races. And so we're kind of facing an opportunity where we're going to have a brand new Congress next year, probably more so than we have in most recent years.
Cammie, and we're speaking with Cammie Mondo, congressional correspondent for the Deseret News. Cammie, I'm going to put you on the spot. You may not have an answer. Do you have a sense yet of maybe what the next Congress might look like besides new faces? Are we going to swing further right? Are we going to go for centrist candidates? Do you have any idea?
It's not entirely clear. I think once these primary elections kind of settle down over the next few months, we'll have a better idea. The House is really what's in contention here, is that it could swing either way for Republicans or Democrats. Whatever party we see win there, I think it'll still be a slim majority that you're going to face the same problems we have right now, depending on which party is in control. The Senate, I don't see that we will have many changes. I think there may be a few seat splits here or there. But there are only 9 of them running who are retiring, so we won't see a huge difference in the Senate. I think the House will be the big difference that we'll see.
And are we hearing anything from the administration or Democrat leadership, encouraging some of these people who are considering retirement to not do that, to stick around, to wait it out another couple of years?
I don't think you're seeing too much of that. You are seeing on the Republican side, at least, a lot of encouragement not to leave office before the term is up. There are a few Republicans who are planning to retire by the end of this year. And they're really just saying you can retire, but don't leave before the November election, like we've seen a couple of Republicans do already, just because they want to keep this slim majority intact no matter what. But there is, on both sides, I think you're seeing kind of encouragement for some of these older members to retire so they can get younger members in. I think that's really the dynamic we're seeing there.
And I guess it's on a case-by-case basis, but I was surprised, for example, Marjorie Taylor Greene bailing out before her term is up. What would encourage a representative to do that, to leave, but in the middle of your term?
In her situation especially, and I think in other situations, it's really more so retaliation in a way that felt more immediately than if she had just left in November. In November, she could have just retired and left, but she would have been replaced by another Republican. It's a very red district. Right now, there's a very immediate consequence for her leaving. They're down a vote. They need to really scramble to make sure they have support across the board for any legislation that they need to pass. So I think with Marjorie Taylor Greene's strategy here, she was upset that things were not getting done, that she was getting hammered for certain decisions and voting that she did, that she wanted to kind of have that consequence felt immediately.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Cami Mondo, congressional correspondent with the Deseret News. And it's always interesting. I mean,
51 in the House.
Yeah. There's 60 across both bodies and
Right.
more to come, she said. So it's interesting for people like us who are political nerds to say, oh my gosh, look, it's kind of fun. But it's always a little, you get to the election day, it's like, oh my gosh, I hate the election.
Yeah, right. I guess I don't understand people leaving in the middle of their term, but there's a reason for everything.
Yeah, it is interesting. Okay, look, we're going to talk about an election, but this time over in Bangladesh. Why should we care about that? It's half a world away. Well, Jay Evenson, who's the opinion editor for the Deseret News, will tell us when we come back after this break.
For over 75 years, Duke's Jewelers has been part of Utah Valley's story. Founded in 1948 by J. Melvin Duke, the Duke family has been helping yours celebrate life's biggest moments, generation after generation. Duke's is more than just a jewelry store. They're craftsmen. From repairing a treasured family heirloom to designing the custom engagement ring of your dreams, their expertise is trusted because it's been earned through decades of care, skill, and tradition. When you walk through the doors of Duke's Jewelry, you're not just a customer. You're part of the Dukes family. Because at Dukes, jewelry isn't just about sparkle. It's about legacy, memory, and love. Discover the difference of a family-owned jeweler where heritage meets craftsmanship. Dukes Jewelers, 220 South Main in Springville, or online at dukesjewelers.com. Dukes Jewelers, celebrating love, tradition, and community since 1948.
Do you remember when tankless water heaters were the big new thing? We all had a friend that was raving about how efficient they were, heating only the water that was needed, saving money, water, the efficiency, amazing. And then sitting next to it was the ordinary water softener, regenerating soft water every night, no matter how much was used, using a predictable yet completely wasteful amount of salt. Looking back, it really doesn't make sense, does it? If you don't have a Kinetico soft water system, you're likely using about 2/3 more salt than you need to. It's not rocket science. It's the same way a tankless water heater only heats the water you use. A Kinetico water softener precisely uses the exact amount of salt needed to give you endless, perfectly soft water for your 2-bed condo or 4-story mansion. Save on money, save on salt. Call Northern Utah's authorized Kinetico dealer, 801-576-8600, or visit softwaterutah.com. Tell them Doug Wright sent you.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though. I'm freaking out. Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
What's better than a credit card with low interest? How about one with no interest? For a limited time, when you open a new America First Visa credit card, you'll enjoy 0% APR for the first 6 months. Transfer your balances from higher rate cards to your new America First card to consolidate debt and potentially save yourself a lot of money. That's 0 interest for 6 months. Interested? Then hurry to AmericaFirst.com to apply today. Introductory variable annual percentage rate is subject to membership, eligibility, terms, creditworthiness, change, and conditions. Other limits and requirements may apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender.
If you've been disappointed by underachieving savings, a high-yield certificate from America First can be a fantastic way to help your money start doing more. Whether you're planning for an upcoming expense or just want to save smarter and earn bigger, America First's flexible certificates are an outstanding way to grow your cash. So don't wait to get your money working. Head to AmericaFirst.com and open a high-yield certificate today. Membership eligibility, terms, conditions, and change apply. Fees could reduce account earnings. Federally insured by NCUA.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. It drove me crazy. It got so bad, I couldn't do my homework. I couldn't concentrate. I absolutely refused to let any of my friends come to our house for any reason. I would have been humiliated if anyone found out how much my dad drank and how loud my mom screamed at him. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful. The only thing that happened is my mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. Her relationship with my dad really changed. I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I wanted to see if I could have a better relationship with my dad. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
The new Inside Sources.
Well, elections in Bangladesh halfway around the world may not sound like something that should concern Utahns, but opinion editor for the Deseret News, Jay Evenson, says maybe it should.
Well, I think it should, and there's a number of reasons why, but we'll let Jay talk to us. Jay, thanks for joining us today.
Well, hi. Thanks for having me. Yes, there are a number of reasons, but as I've been thinking about this, since the elections happened on February 12th, it's becoming clear now what Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel laureate, did as the interim leader in Bangladesh. And I think the main lesson here is that he obviously put the welfare of his country above any politics or any desire for power of his own. He never was interested in running for office. He didn't want to preserve or accumulate power. Now, in the United States, we're so divided by party right now and by partisanship, left, right. Wouldn't it be better if we put the good of our country above anything our party wanted to do? The two are not always the same. And the accumulation of power is not the same as good leadership. We're seeing in Bangladesh an example of something that the world doesn't see very often. And it's a country that's been rife with corruption and problems, trying really hard to turn itself around. Now, we're not sure whether these elections are going to do that or if the new leadership is going to carry on in Muhammad Yunus's example. But there is a ray of hope there, and it could shine the way for a lot of other countries in the world.
Jay, what do we know about the various factions or parties that are involved and where the country could go as a result of this and what we can gain maybe from learning about that? Yeah, so the party that won power is the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, and they're not new. In fact, they ruled the country just prior to the previous prime minister, who was forced to seek asylum because of a revolution about a year and a half ago. And that leader, the new prime minister, Tariq Rahman, has come under fire for accusations of nepotism and other problems, but it's hard to tell whether those are real or whether they're just part of the Bangladeshi politics where accusations were flying back and forth. The problem in Bangladesh is that the second party in power
has never really been a loyal opposition. Instead, they take to the streets and they march and they protest. And now the second party in power is something called Jamaat, which is a fundamentalist Islamic party, actually a coalition that they formed with several other parties. There were 50 parties in this election.
Wow.
It really
5-0?
remains 5-0,
Wow.
yes. It remains to be seen whether they become a true loyal opposition and participate in the parliament, or whether things are going to just devolve back into the way they've always been there.
Do you think that having numerous parties like that is a good model and something that maybe United States maybe it'll never happen here, but having multiple parties is better than two in some respects?
Well, so the parliamentary system means that you have to form coalitions with people who you can share common interests, but maybe one party wants this one thing and you want the other, and you can join forces and maybe try to get both for your coalition. That's just a completely different type of system of government than what we have. And generally speaking, in the United States, the two-party system has been able to absorb new factions as they come up and kind of take the sharp edges off of them. You know, we saw that with populism in the early 20th century, and that became part of the Democratic Party, but it was tempered in a way that didn't allow it to go into some of the more extreme versions of that we saw in Europe and other parts of the world. You know, Russia, for example. I'm not sure whether those parties still have that function or whether they're being taken over by the extremes. I think you can make that argument. But to have 50 different parties, I think that would be kind of a mess, actually.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot. I know that you've had a lot of experience and interaction with Muhammad Yunus, but you also had the opportunity to talk with, I think maybe your article about him called them rebels. But how are people who were really happy that the previous leader was deposed, how are they seeing these elections?
Well, I spoke to Mahfouz Alam, who was one of the chief architects of the revolution in 2024. He helped to form a new political party that the students were behind, but he was really disillusioned because that party ended up joining forces with the extreme Islamists earlier in the year. So he's left that party, and he's very cautiously optimistic because he's not sure what's going to happen in the future. But one of the things Muhammad Yunus did was he set up a charter of freedoms and reforms that he felt were necessary going forward, and he had every political party sign on to that charter, and he put it on the ballot. And so an overwhelming majority, more than 60% of the voters in Bangladesh, approved that charter. So now the pressure is on the new ruling party to see if they will enact some of those reforms and whether all parties will come together and support them. That's kind of the next step, to see if that happens or not. But most of the people I talked to over there last week were cautiously optimistic and a little bit worried.
He sounds sort of like a Nelson Mandela personality, but you say he has no interest in running. He just wants to help and be sort of behind the scenes.
His whole life has been dedicated to trying to help the poor, and he won the Nobel Peace Prize for his microcredit programs to do just that. And he told me that he's never been interested in political power, and people have tried to recruit him to their parties in the past. The rebels who won the revolution a year and a half ago came to him and said, "We want you to be our interim leader." And he reluctantly agreed and said, "I'll do that, but I don't want to do anything more." He didn't want to. His whole aim was to try to set the country up for success following his interim leadership, but he didn't want to be a ruler in the future.
Jay, what do you think the United States can gain with our relationship with Bangladesh after these most recent elections?
Well, it's a very volatile region of the world, South Asia, and there's a lot of terrorism there. There's a lot of crime and problems. Bangladesh could be a real partner with the United States in helping to uproot some of that. And if Bangladesh succeeds as a democracy, it could shine the way for other countries. Myanmar next door has been a really troubled nation for a number of years. India is, of course, a democracy, but there have been some problems there too lately, and then Pakistan on the other side of India. If Bangladesh shows the way toward prosperity and democracy, it could be an example for other nations to follow, which would give the United States some really important allies in that part of the world.
Just one last question. What is next for Muhammad Yunus?
He's going back to his Grameen Foundation, Grameen Bank, and setting up what he calls social businesses, which are businesses that instead of just a pure profit motive, they exist to in different ways help poor people. Like he partnered with Dannon Yogurt to find yogurt that would actually include the ingredients and necessary medicines and things to cure things like night blindness, that type of thing, and make it very affordable for the poor. Those are the types of things he wants to keep working on now.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Jay Evenson, opinion editor for the Deseret News. And, I've been to Bangladesh, and it is a very densely populated country.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people
you think of it
just packed in there.
Is a part of the world that's really struggling, but it sounds like that country's got some leaders, and we can all learn from people like that.
I think so too, right? I think so too. So, look, earlier we talked about Ramadan and how Ramadan fasting it began today. When we come back, we're going to talk about Ash Wednesday and the beginning of Lent and the fasting that comes along with that. So stay with us over this next break.
11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Claire Scott. KSL's top local story this hour. The snow is falling fast in the Salt Lake Valley right now. We could get several inches of accumulation, and a lot of that happens in the next few hours.
Still calling for 1 to 4 inches generally along the Wasatch Front, and I think that window for the heaviest snow is going to be 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson there. He tells us this evening the snow will be more scattered, and tomorrow should be fairly dry. We'll check in with the traffic center in just a few minutes to see how it is impacting your drive. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Health experts and climate scientists are pushing back after the Trump administration repealed a crucial rule on greenhouse gases last week.
In a new lawsuit, the American Public Health Association, the American Lung Association, the Center for Biological Diversity, and several other public health and climate groups say the EPA is legally required to limit vehicle emissions, according to the Clean Air Act. Last week, the EPA rolled back the endangerment finding, which was the legal basis for regulations covering things like vehicle tailpipe emissions and pollution from factories. Mike Dubosky, ABC News.
Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 226 points, the S&P is up 51 points. And coming up, winter driving conditions in the higher elevations, especially the canyons. KSL traffic is next. KSL News Time, 11:31.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Andy, I like that shirt. Is that a new shirt?
It is. It's from Ann Collar, and it's really rare to find a shirt that looks good and is super comfortable. And this is a fabric unlike anything I've ever felt.
I got one for my husband and my sons, and watching my 19-year-old put on the Ann Collar shirt and sort of check himself out in the mirror, I thought, wow, he's really digging that. And I can understand why, because it's not just comfortable, it's stain repellent, which I needed.
Oh, my goodness. Something.
He attracts spaghetti sauce to shirts like you would not believe. And with these Ann Collar shirts, I can get it out.
Amanda, I have to wear a special bib when I eat spaghetti with a white shirt on. But with Ann Collar shirts, it takes those little tiny nicks and stains, and they don't stick to you. Yeah, you don't have to dump a bucket of stuff on you, but it would repel that too.
You've got to try one. So whether it's the traditional white shirt or any of the patterns they have, it's Ann Collar, and they're made right here in Utah.
If you've never tried Ann Collar before, we have got permission to give you 15% off at AnnCollar.com and go get your first. Use the code KSL15.
That's AnnCollar. andcaller, andcaller.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep discounts. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Storm coverage, traffic, and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Here's Tito Nani.
A multi-vehicle crash, including a rollover in Davis County on northbound Legacy in Centerville, blocking traffic and causing delays. Reduce speeds and be careful. Not an easy drive through Big and Little Cottonwood. They have been getting hit with heavy snowfall for hours. Restrictions in place for each, and the traction law is in for both directions. On the east side of the valley, I-215 eastbound also getting snowfall. Heavy at times and sticking to the road. Use extra caution at bridges, freeway ramps, and overpasses as they tend to freeze quickly and get very slick. Also, heavy snow accumulation with slow speeds and reduced visibility as you travel I-80 through Parley's Canyon. Whipple Service Champions is Utah's most trusted name for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical services. And they're your first choice for offering honest second opinions. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
We'll see the heavy snowfall along the Wasatch Front and back over the next few hours. Things start to calm down after 3 this afternoon, and by evening, storms will be more scattered. We're expecting 1 to 4 inches of accumulation on the valley floor. Right now, it is 30 and snowing. I'm Claire Scott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com, or Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, earlier today we spoke with Imam Shuaib about the start of the, and he's with the Utah Islamic Center, about the start of the fasting holiday Ramadan, but it also happens to be Ash Wednesday, which is the beginning of the Catholic fasting holiday Lent. Both of those, I don't know that those occur on the same day very often, especially
Probably not very often,
given what we learned about Ramadan, but it's really interesting.
So we're joined now by Father John Evans from the Diocese of Salt Lake City. And welcome to our show, Father Evans.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
I wonder if you could just tell us and our listeners about the origins of Ash Wednesday.
Well, Ash Wednesday really comes from Scripture, the Old Testament, where you'll read and hear about people that want to repent before God would often be said to put sackcloth and ashes on. And then, but really, the tradition that we celebrate in our Christian faith, you're looking at the early 2nd century or so. It's a time of fasting and penance. And then, of course, over time, we've added almsgiving to it. But it is the reconciling with oneself with their mortality with their need for God's mercy in their life. And it's a way of seeking not only repentance, but greater communion with God, with neighbor.
What is the significance, Father, about fasting as it relates to, like we talked with someone, this imam, about Ramadan, and it's just interesting that both faiths have fasting starting today. What's the significance of that to you?
Well, in our tradition, the fasting, it's a spiritual tool, you could say, that helps us have a heightened sense of what we are intending, what we're about, what we're wanting. So when we fast and we have hunger pain, the pangs of hunger, it's a subtle reminder of what we're doing. So in this case of having repentance, humility before God, wanting greater communion with God, that fasting or that little sacrifice of what you're making, there's a physical reminder in it for you. It's kind of like the idea how people put rubber bands on their wrist and they, to remind themselves of something. It does the same when we fast. But there's a sacrificial quality to it as well, because not only can you do it for that reminder, but you could also fast and, for example, take the monetary value of that meal and donate that for the hungry, for the poor, or maybe even provide a meal for the poor, right? So it can be expanded in a number of different ways, but the primary part of it is to draw us more deeply into our communion with God and the purpose of what we're doing.
So, Father, let me ask you this question as well. So I know Lent is the period that precedes Easter. Is the fasting just today, or does it extend through the whole period of time? And what does that look like?
Oh, no, it's not the whole period of time. So the fasting, we begin with Ash Wednesday today, and then we have a fasting on Good Friday. So just the 2 days. Now, people often voluntarily fast more than that, some once a week, all year long if they want, or some other practice. But as a community, we're doing it those 2 days out of the year primarily.
And talk to us about Lent.
Well, Lent, the 40 days, we're not counting Sundays, and it goes from Ash Wednesday all the way up to Holy Week when the Triduum starts, or that would be Holy Thursday, the evening of Holy Thursday. And you count those days, and it's 40 days, a very biblical number. Jesus is 40 days in the desert, and then Israel's 40 years of wandering in the desert. And it has that kind of scriptural significance to it. But again, it's not so much the number of days, it's more about what we're doing in those days. It's the fasting, the almsgiving, the prayer, the repentance, the humility before God, the desire and wanting to have greater life in God, not only now, but for all eternity.
So, Father, and we're speaking with Father John Evans of the Diocese of Salt Lake City. Can you talk to us and our listeners about ashes on the forehead and maybe what we need to understand about that?
Well, people will be wearing their ashes around throughout the day. It's not something we do, all the time. And it's the significance of it has to do with recognizing our mortality. When I was applying ashes to people's foreheads today at Mass this morning, I would say, remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall return. And it's just that acknowledgement in all humility that we are mortal beings. We are not divine, and we can participate in the divine. We can be called into communion in the divine, but fundamentally we have a creator and we are created. And our time is limited here on earth. So we're faced with that mortality, but here's the best part of it. What are we doing through Lent? What are we doing with the ashes? We're journeying or moving towards the biggest celebration of the entire year around the world for all Christians, and that is the resurrection, the Easter celebration. So what we're doing in this preparation, in this whole time of repentance, is for a purpose. It's to be in communion with God. It's to have greater life in God now and for all eternity. And so everything we're doing is moving that direction.
Father, it seems like at this point in time, not only in our country, but maybe on our planet, that there is more maybe dissension and more problems than we've experienced before, at least in my lifetime. What does a holiday like Lent or Good Friday help us maybe give some optimism about where we are?
Well, let me share a little bit with you about my preaching this past weekend. One of the things I preached on, I used a little bit of an example of these two brothers. And they had a rift between them. They had, a squabble going on for years. And I was inviting people to think about, people talk about giving up your cookies for Lent or your soda or something. Something, again, just to remind you of what you're about, right, what you're doing. But I said, it's good, do those things, but maybe think a little deeper. Where do we need to have healing? Where do we need to have greater life in our life and the lives of those around us? And, so these brothers that were fighting, one of them, put his pride aside and apologized for his part in the argument that had been going on. He didn't apologize for the other. He just did his part. But he opened the door to healing and reconciliation. And when we think about what we're doing, maybe we think a little more deeply, not just about ourselves, but about our neighbor. And that goes not just for our relatives, but for everybody in our life. And what does that look like if you want to take it a step farther in your life in God?
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. That was Father John Evans of the Diocese of Salt Lake City. And, I think it's a good time to reflect. And I especially appreciated his example of saying, look, we give up cookies or we give up soda for Lent, but maybe we can give up anger and road rage and some of the other things that we're seeing a lot of, unfortunately, in our society today. Look, when we come back, we're going to talk about our fun facts of the day, including Winter Games trivia.
There you go.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line. Yeah. When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at SOTA, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
This month, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Business technology has changed a lot over the last 70 years, but one thing hasn't.
Les Olson is here.
As the years have passed, there's been one constant. And after 70 years and still counting, Les Olson IT is here with the technology and the people to make life easier, more productive, and more secure for your business. Let Les be here for you.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. TSA Architects is a Salt Lake City-based firm dedicated exclusively to healthcare design, creating environments that support patients, caregivers, and communities. As the firm marks a milestone year and a new chapter in leadership, joining us is Director of Business Development, Mark Sabori.
At TSA Architects, our work is always centered on designing healthcare environments that support those who give care and those who receive it. This year marks our 30th anniversary and a thoughtful leadership transition. Our founder, Tracy Stocking, has stepped into the role of Senior Architect and President Emeritus, while a new partner group is leading the firm day to day. Tracy remains actively involved, and that continuity is important to our clients and team. The transition brings fresh energy while preserving what clients count on: deep healthcare expertise, trusted relationships, and values rooted in innovation, experience, and heart. We're proud to partner with organizations like University of Utah Health, Mountain Star Healthcare, Common Spirit Health, Intermountain Health, and the Department of Veterans Affairs, working on projects from hospitals to community health centers. As we move into this next chapter, our purpose remains the same: making place for the human spirit by creating healthcare environments that support people, purpose, and better outcomes every day.
TSA Architects combines decades of expertise with a forward-looking leadership team, bringing clarity, care, and intention to complex healthcare environments. Learn more at tsa-usa.com. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Inside Sources.
Well, we've had a lot to talk about today, and there's been a lot going on, not the least of which is what's happening outside our window.
I know.
It is now starting
it's
to
sticking.
accumulate, so just in time for us to drive in it. But the snow's, we need the snow. It's great. It looks like even in Milan, Italy, they've got a fair amount of snow going too there.
They do. And, I wanted to talk a little bit about the games that are going on over there right now. So yesterday we had a chance to talk with Matt Gebhardt, and he said the one thing he wanted to watch was Mikaela Shiffrin. Well, she won the slalom, and it snapped her 8-year Olympic drought. So she started 12 years ago in the Olympics when she was just a teenager. And then yesterday she won the gold medal in the slalom, and she's now 30. So
and you mentioned that she won it by like a second and
a second and a half.
That's astonishing. I mean, because these races are decided by
tenths of seconds,
right,
or hundredths
like
of seconds.
of a second.
Yeah.
So she must have just been flying.
She must have been flying.
And the slalom is the most technical. It's really something I could never do. My kids slalom race, but man, you're hitting those gates with your wrist, and you're just flying by them as fast as you can, and turn and turn and turn. It's a real technical event.
So I wanted to see how she did, and so this is an article from ESPN, and they apparently, the writer is a really big fan, because she said Mikaela reminded the world she's the all-time greatest in the event, and that she skied impeccably in both runs to win by 1.5 seconds.
Well, that's right. You get 2 runs, and they combine your time. Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah.
The
So
slalom.
I'll
watch that tonight.
I wanted to tell you also about a dog that ran on the track. It's kind of funny. So he looks a little bit like a wolf, and people were afraid he was. He is a dog, but he was staying in an Airbnb with his owners, and apparently was able to escape and ended up running across the cross-country ski course on the home stretch.
I hope there were no athletes
There's
at
this
the
dog.
time.
There were athletes, and there was an athlete that was like, I'm a little afraid. Like, was he going to bite me? His name is Nazgul, which is, if you remember the Lord of the Rings, those are the big creatures that kill everything, right?
You know what would be good, though, is if the dog was behind the athletes. It might actually speed them up.
That's right.
Might give them a little push.
That's right. And it's funny because this is an NPR article. They say the race organizers did not make Nazgul available for questions after his capture.
Yeah, right.
So he is a 2-year-old Czechoslovakian wolf dog. Thank you very much.
And it's a pretty animal just from the picture.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So it's just, it's like one of the things you don't expect at the Olympic Games is that you're going to have a dog run across
And
your
the
course.
athletes not knowing, is this a carnivore or just
Exactly.
somebody's pet?
Exactly. So is there anything you followed from yesterday's Olympics last night?
Well, when we talked to Matt, so I was interested in the women's slalom. That was something that I was following up on, and I was wondering when the finals of the women's ice hockey is, but I think it's tomorrow because we watched the prelims, the semis, a couple days ago, and the U.S. of course beat Sweden and Canada beat whoever they played. I don't remember who it was, and so the finals between those two teams. That's one of those rivalries that never ends.
Yeah.
It's just the United States and Canada in women's. It's also big in women's softball, I think. But those countries just go at it every year. So I'm looking forward to that. That's didn't answer your question because I think it's not until tomorrow, but I'll be watching that one for sure.
Well, and we talked already also about an engagement with Breezy, right? But there was another engagement that happened yesterday, and this is Hillary Knight, the captain of the women's hockey team. She got down on one knee to propose to her partner, which is
that's fun.
Another woman, but she said she fell in love with her during the 2022 Beijing Olympics. So there you go. Romantic stories at the Olympics.
And then we had the anti-romantic story, the Norwegian cross-country
The
skier.
weird guy is like, hey, I cheated on you. Please forgive me.
Yeah,
Wait,
it was completely out of context. Like, what are you doing? He's crying and all upset, and she's like, I wished he hadn't done it that way.
No, right?
Yeah.
That's like the kiss cam where the people are like, no, or you propose and they're like, no way, no.
That's not me. That's not me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's time for our little history lesson for the Winter Games.
This day in the history of the Winter Games on Inside Sources, brought to you by America First Credit Union.
So it was on this day, February 18th, 1928, that USA 2 beat USA 1 by 1/2 of a second for the 5-man bobsled gold medal. 5-man bobsleigh, yeah, gold
We don't
medal.
have 5-man bobsled. It's
Well,
4.
in 1928 they did.
Okay, that was
and
thinking
they
when
had
you said
two teams.
USA 1 or A and B. I thought that has to be the bobsled. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's one of the only events where
One and
the
two.
country can enter multiple teams.
So they did enter multiple teams, and there was only a 1/2 a second difference between the two teams, and that was in St. Moritz, Winter Games. Germany 2 took the bronze. So in 1952, the Norwegian speed skater, I don't know how to say his name, Mr. Anderson, won his 3rd gold medal of the Oslo Winter Games. He did the 10,000 meter in 16 minutes, 45 seconds, and 8/10.
Yeah, that's
16
miles.
minutes in
Yeah.
10,000 meters.
Yeah,
Holy
that's,
cow.
That's a
He was flying.
10K. That's really, really fast.
So it was on this day, February 18th, in 1960, that the Winter Games opened in Squaw Valley, California.
Yeah.
So do you remember that game?
I forget that. No. I mean, because I always
You were
think of the only venues that we've had in the United States as being Salt Lake and Lake Placid.
Yeah.
But Squaw Valley actually hosted one.
That's right.
Maybe there have been others. I don't recall. But you always think of those two venues. I don't think of Squaw Valley.
Well, so speaking of Squaw Valley, in 1980, the Soviet figure skater Irina Rodina rode Nina, won her third consecutive Winter Games pairs title at Lake Placid, but she won gold with her husband for 2 years, 76 and 80, and then with a different partner in 72. So I thought that was a fun story.
Yeah, anything that happened in Salt Lake on this day? I'm sorry, I put you on the spot here.
No, there wasn't. And I looked, and there wasn't a medal ceremony. I'm sure events took place, but I didn't find anything for the 2002 Winter Games. But I did find Katarina Witt. Do you remember her?
How do I remember?
East German figure skater.
Oh, yes, she was.
Yeah.
1984.
So she won 2 consecutive women's singles gold medals in Sarajevo in 84 on this day, and then in Calgary in 88. So and then I do have an American one. This was 2014. American snowboarder David Wise won the first of 2 consecutive Olympic half-pipe gold medals, first in Sochi, so that was February 18th, 2014, and then again in Pyeongchang in 2018.
Yeah, we haven't had snowboard events for very long because we haven't had snowboards for very long, and they were sort of a novelty for a while. Now they're a huge part of the ski industry. I mean, there are some resorts, Holly, that still don't allow snowboarders on their mountain.
And is it because they get in the way of the skiers, you as a skier?
Well, no, I don't know. I mean, I think 2 of the 3 resorts in North America are here in Utah. I think Alta and Deer Valley still don't allow it. I don't know the logic. I mean, it's a different kind of crowd, and I think a lot of people think their young kids are more aggressive, they're more crazy, which is true, but we were all at that age once, whether we were skiing or snowboarding.
So you mentioned that. It's interesting. They were not added to the Winter Games until 1998 in Nagano, Japan. And so I know that they were here in 2002 in the Winter Games that Salt Lake City held.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's relatively recent. I've got a couple of kids where when they were in 4th grade, they were able to go up and they could choose skiing or snowboarding. And most of them actually chose snowboarding.
Yeah, when I started patrolling at Park City Mountain Resort in the 80s, we did not allow snowboards on our mountain, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet it was 20 years before they did. Every once in a while, somebody would sneak up on the hill with a snowboard and they'd go down just to say they did it. But they were forbidden for a long period of time. And like I say, still are. I went skiing with a group of kids this last weekend.
Yeah.
They were all snowboarders, so it was like, okay, that's what we're doing.
All right. Well, this day in the history of the Winter Games is brought to you by America First Credit Union. Helping your money do more has never been easier. Just head to americafirst.com and open a high-yield certificate today.
And that's it for Inside Sources today. Midday with Maria Chaleos is up next, and we'll leave you with this.
Snow, 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 snow.